Bada bing, bada boom. Another card trick back in the room. For those of you who are curious, by the way, today we're going to be using the Alex Pandrea's X deck. I actually really love this tuck case. We'll start by handing the deck over to the spectator, and they can shuffle it up as much as they would like. Once they're satisfied with the shuffle, we'll have 3 cards selected randomly. So I'll dribble, card number 1 selected, put it right here. Dribble again, card number 2 selected, right here. Dribble 1 last time, card number 3 selected, and right here. So we have these 3 cards. What I would normally have the spectator do is take a look at each of these 3 cards and memorize just one of these 3. I would have absolutely no idea which card they memorized. So let's just say you want to memorize this card over here. So take a look and memorize that card. To make it a bit more difficult for me, I'm just gonna mix that card in into this pile, and yeah, just gonna lose it in. Hopefully you have your card memorized. And we're going to return each of these cards into the deck wherever the spectator wants. Let's just say first card here, another card here, and another card here. And we'll push all of those cards right in. This is where it gets a bit more difficult. I'm going to need your help. As I spread through the cards like this, I'm going to ask you, have you seen your card yet? You have. You've seen the card. Okay. That definitely tells me it's probably not anywhere in this portion of the deck. So I'm just going to throw that over to the side. And that means your card has to be somewhere in this portion. I'm going to start dealing out cards, and as I deal, I want you to kind of just put your hand over this this pile that I'm dealing, and that'll make it maybe a little bit easier for me to figure out what the your card. This, I don't think it's this one. I don't think it's this one. Do you think it's this one? It's not. Okay, perfect. But I'm getting there. I felt it. I felt your hand kind of shake a bit as if it knows exactly what card this is. What was the card you selected? The King of Diamonds? Well, check it out. Here we have the King of Diamonds. Boom. It's magic. Okay, the cards. What up, crew? Maybe I should have taken a look at the camera. Hold on. I actually just wanted to show off my bot. Yeah. Terrible. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. The card trick I'm sharing with you today is known as a Thought Card Prodigy. The method behind it is pretty simple and straightforward, but it will require a little bit of practice to be done correctly. So now before we dive right into the tutorial, make sure you smash that like button and get ready to share with all your friends. Now grab your favorite deck, and let's do it. Alright, so welcome to the tutorial. Let's go ahead and break this down. First things first, you're going to need a deck of playing cards that has a one-way back design. That's one of the reasons I like this X deck by Pandrea, is because the back design, the one-way back design on this is very subtle. And if you don't know what that means, a one-way back design is viewed one way, and it looks different versus being viewed another way that looks different as well. And hopefully with this close-up perspective, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. With some one-way decks, I feel like it's very obvious, but with this one, not so much. So to start, you want to have the cards all facing the exact same direction, right? With this one-way back design, you want to make sure none of them are facing the wrong way like this or like that. Let me actually see if I can make this easier. Let me find a better, more obvious one-way back design deck. So I found this Off-World deck by Dealer's Grip. They're meant for cardistry, but I think the impression will still pass of what I'm looking to do. So you can see, looking at the cards one way versus another way, they look completely different, right? Looking at the top left design, these are 2 different designs, but when viewed this way, they are exactly the same. So that's, that's the one way I'm talking about. So when you start, you want all the cards to be facing the exact same way, right? That's the only prep work that you need for this trick. Now you can hand the deck over to the spectator if you want them to shuffle it up. One thing I'd be wary of is really judging your spectator in terms of how they shuffle. Don't actually judge them, right? Don't be like, oh, I don't even know. I don't want to get canceled. Oh, your skin color is green. You must be alien. But you want to judge them to see how well they follow instructions. So when you hand this deck over to them and you want to show, like, just shuffle up the deck like this or like this, right? So if you show them this gesture here, most likely they're going to shuffle up the deck like this. In cases that they don't shuffle up the deck like that, you can always do another impromptu type card trick. But most of the time that I've seen, if I've told people to shuffle up like this, that's how they're going to shuffle. So let's say spectator has shuffled up the deck. They return it back to you. At this point, you have them select out 3 cards. So card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3, just to make life easy for us. I just realized these cards have weird faces. This one's actually fine. This one's fine too. This one's a little strange, but still okay. So we have these 3 cards, 10 of clubs, 2 of hearts, and 3 of clubs. The spectator can take a look at all 3 of these cards, right? Exactly what we did before. And they're going to memorize just one of these 3 cards. let's just say they decided to memorize the 10 of clubs. It really doesn't matter which one they memorize, so we can even, mix these up. Maybe I'll put 10 of clubs in the center. It really doesn't matter which one of these cards they pick. But what's going to happen is, it matters how these cards are replaced back into the deck. So the way that I do it is I take the first card, and I riffle slowly up top, put that card in, but as I'm putting it in, you can see I'm reversing the card as it goes in, push that card in. Or you can wait for all three, same with the second, go about halfway, push that card in. Last card, go close to the bottom and push that card in. So now if we took a quick look at the deck, we can easily spot which one of the 3 cards Spectator has selected. There's card number 1, there's card number 2, and there's card number 3. So that's blatantly obvious. That's why, again, I like to use this deck where it's a lot less obvious of which cards are facing the wrong direction. But we're using this deck just for our purposes to demonstrate. From here, you want to turn the deck face up like this, and the card they selected was 10 of clubs, right? So you start spreading through the cards. Just to make it a bit easier to view, I'm going to do it here. You start spreading through the cards. After you get through about the first third of the deck, ask them, have you seen your card yet? They're going to say yes or no. If they say no, you're going to keep spreading the cards. Again, this is the ribbon spread. You keep spreading the cards until you're past halfway, so maybe 2/3 of the way in. If they say no, then you know their card is somewhere in this packet. If they say yes, then you know their card is somewhere in the center packet. So based off of what they said, I like to take out that packet. In this case, we know, and normally I spread out a lot wider than this, so it's easier to see. But in this case, right, the spectator, we went through about 2/3, and the spectator's like, yes, my card is there. So now we know that the card they selected is not in this pile. I literally get rid of that, toss that over to the side, and I pick all of these up. Looking at this a bit more closely, we can see Spectator has selected this card. We don't actually know if it's, which one of these it is. We just know it's in this general area. But I was able to eliminate those cards. And we know it's not one of the top cards. So we know it's going to be the second card that's flipped in the incorrect direction, or the second card that's turned in the incorrect direction. And this is where you want to build up your performance of how can I make this more interactive with the spectator. Maybe you can have the spectator deal, right? So the spectator is dealing one card at a time. You can have them go quick, and maybe you're holding their hand or something along those lines. Just really try to think of ways to make this more interactive and inclusive towards a spectator. This way they find it a lot more enjoyable as well. So you're dealing. That's the first card that's reversed. Right? Let me just make sure I wasn't like looking around everywhere while I was talking. That's the first card that was reversed. And you can keep going past that because you know it's not going to be the first one, since they said no when you asked them the first time after you went through the first third. You're going to keep going, or they're going to keep going, either one. I would highly recommend you to try out different performances of this and see which one hits harder. Right, there's the second one. You can either go a few more cards and be like, I think I've felt your card somewhere, and then try to fake something like I did in my performance. Or as soon as you deal that out, you can have the spectator, or you can have yourself or have the spectator touch the top of the card and be like, I feel like there's something going on with this card, and then you can reveal the selected card was the 10 of clubs. Simple but brilliant. Let me know what you guys think of this one. It's a fun little trick to try out. For another cool card trick that you can do with a one-way back design, click on this video right over here, and if I can't find one, I'll just give you another great video to watch. A huge shout out to all my Patreon producers, and thank you, love you, see you soon.